Hi guys and gals, it's Ash from A&R Design. It's a brutally cold day. This is going to be a pretty cool review on the Sons of Liberty Gunworks MK1 11.5 SBR. Out of the box, I did change some furniture just to make it matchy-matchy. I put olive drab Magpul SLK MOE and a Mo grip just to match. They come from the factory with the Huxworks muzzle device on it. And I had a Flow 556K to be matchy-matchy. We did put a Holosun Iris GR3 on top. From all the professionals that I know that are in the night vision world, I've heard unbelievable things about this for the size of the package, the throw on the illuminator. Like, it's still pretty bright out right now. It's like 2:30 in the afternoon, and I can validate my offset with my red dot in broad daylight with green vis on low power, which is pretty awesome. I'm using Modlite light buttons. We sell these on our website. I'm running our multicam black link light sling. So this is our very own sling that we make and sell. I have a multicam black Sentry strap from Neomag here. It's my favorite way to keep our slings tight to the rifle. It's got a little magnetic tab here so you can peel out of your sling really quick. We are running our very own NSN, so NATO stock numbered, Anvil Mjolnir. So this is our mount that we make. We own Anvil. This is our Mjolnir Picatinny modular riser. I have the middle insert removed. I have the Picatinny extension rail added to it. And then I just chopped it. I chopped it down to fit this platform so it's nice and tight. And I also didn't want the Picatinny rail extending too far back because the tab, this big tab on this SIG throw lever is a little bit unnecessarily big here. Like, I understand why you get gloves, you want to get this off, but I really don't care. I'm probably gonna chop that down to the very first texture, clean it up and blue it so that, like, right here when I go to charge the gun, it's a low pro, so I can get my hand in there, and it's not horrible. And obviously this is the locking bar for the quick throw, but it would be nice to just get a little bit more knuckle in there if I need to perform a charge on it and not interfere with that. We are running the Romeo 8T AMR. This is a really cool smart optic from SIG. It is a red dot in this configuration. It's the same field of view as the 8T, the classic 8T. It's not as robust as the classic 8T, but it's really cool. I did put this on our Mjolnir riser because I did test it with my 31s and I was a little low and kind of crashing a little bit, so I wanted it up a hair. So that's why I put it on our riser. This is a smart optic. So you have a red dot here. If you change the intensity with the magnifier flipped over, it does not change the intensity of your dot when it's flipped closed. In this throw from SIG, there's a cylindrical 1.5 inch long magnet. That magnet actuates a reticle change on the red dot, changing to a circle 3 dot pattern. And we'll show you that now. It's tough to show, but it's just a simple red dot. But when you switch over, that's when you get the AMR circle 3 dot, and they're also individual intensity. So if you bump up or if you, let's say you lower the intensity of your magnifier circle dot, you flip it over, let's brighten this guy all the way up. All right, so it's raging hot right now, all right? And you flip this back over, it goes back to your original intensity you have set on that. So you can have a brighter or dimmer red dot and a brighter or dimmer magnified reticle, which is awesome. The definitive answer on barrel life for this barrel is roughly 25 to 35,000 rounds, depending on what kind of shooter you are. If you're doing mag dumps through it, or you're more a conservative shooter. This gun is also shooting sub MOA at 100 yards, which is also awesome. The reason why the barrel is special, it's a 1 in 7 twist, which is your standard AR twist on a barrel, but it's got T3 rifling. T3 rifling is the rifling that allows this gun to be chrome lined and be super accurate. So that's really cool. It comes from the factory with a HUXWORKS muzzle device. That is also the muzzle device that the unit that this gun was built for chose, because they went with a HUXWORKS suppressor. So we have the Flow 556K on this gun. I am running the Hollow Sun Iris GR3 laser, and because of that, I had to run the newer Surefire Scout Pros that have the adjustable arm so I could get that light nice and tight to it. If you're running a Surefire on like an Arasaka, you have to run it from one of the lower M locks. You won't get it as tight to it because this laser sits over the rail. It sits over it like a saddle. I'm running the Modlite light buttons for Crane and Surefire. This rail is cool. You can see these little slots you got here. This is so you can run zip ties through the rail. There is a trough going down the whole length of the top of the rail, and then all of the Picatinis are rounded so that there's no sharp edges that can cut wires. It's got a titanium specially coated barrel nut, and it is vented, and that's so that the barrel nut can cool faster. And when you're really running this gun hard, being able to cool it down or not hold higher chamber temperatures is important for barrel life, as well as round cook-off. If the chamber gets too hot, you can cook off rounds because you're getting the cases hot once they're seated. And obviously if a chamber is super hot and takes longer to cool down, if you have to do more sustained fire, you're gonna get throat erosion inside the barrel. So that's really well thought out. The handguard itself, again, is really, really nice. It's a 7-panel M-lock. Like I said, it's got that nice vented top rib of Picatinny. It's got a laser engraved honeycomb texturing. So that's also nice because even though it's a smaller texturing, it is increasing the surface area of the rail, which also helps it cool while also giving you added grip. The rail itself has like a castle nut style where it meets the upper receiver, so there's no rotation in the handguard. So it's a very uniform receiver to handguard Picatinny. They have this really nice Cerakote. I haven't tested how anti-IR it is for glare, but it looks pretty nice. They laser mark their dust covers with 5.56 so you don't confuse your caliber. It's got a nice flared mag well. I do like the geometry on the trigger guard. It's got plenty of room for gloves. There's no hot spots here on the trigger guard. Some other ARs I've run have had hot spotting there, and I have 0 hot spotting there. Comes with a Sons of Liberty 2-stage trigger. It's a really nice trigger. Kind of feels like a Geisley SSA 2-stage. I think that's the 2-stage model for Geisley, but it has a very similar to Geisley feel. So if you're a Geisley trigger person, going to this trigger isn't much of a switch. It's got a Badger Ordnance selector, which is my preferred selector. Badger makes the best selectors. I'm assuming that this is probably stainless or something because this is a maritime type firearm. It comes with a B5 Weapon Systems grip. I don't like B5 Weapon Systems grips, even though they are affordable and they're great. I don't like them. I'm gonna switch to a Magpul, which also looks better with the Cerakote. It also came with one of the newer Magpul stocks. I swapped it out to the SLK from Magpul because also a olive drab looks better with the camouflage. It matches the camo on the A5 Voltor style buffer tube, so it has an A5H2 in it, which means that this gun is very soft shooting. It's got that extra dwell time with the A5 rifle length buffer tube, so that's why you see it doesn't fully collapse because it's a rifle length buffer tube. This is my preferred buffer tube and weight for many of my 11.5 and carbine length guns. The bolt carrier group is the legendary bolt carrier group with MP3 finish. MP3 is the coating. I haven't cleaned this since I got it. I'm just gonna wipe it with my dry finger here. I can wipe off a lot of the carbon right off the bolt that way. That's nice. I like MP3 over DLC. I've got a DLC bolt carrier from another company. It wipes and cleans really nice, but guess what doesn't like DLC? Diamond Light coating is gas rings. If you have a DLC bolt carrier, buy a bunch of extra gas rings because gas rings will float off of a bolt that is DLC and that is the major failure point for DLC bolts. So having an MP3 coating on a bolt carrier is much better than a DLC coating, in my opinion. I guess they enhanced the position of the forward assist here so that you have more clearance to their charging handle. They do have a very short, slimline profile charging handle. It's a very beefy charging handle. It's got some lightning cuts on it. It is nice and small, so if you're running this on kit, plate carriers, gear, dive equipment, whatever else you're running this with. And it's big lobed, round lobes here, nothing to snag on, not to accidentally rack or take your gun out of battery. They did this on purpose. This is for gear. It's a really nice charging handle. I think it's really smart. Also, while we're on this side of the gun as well, it's got a very large bolt release paddle. It's shielded. You can see the upper receiver shields it really, really nicely, so there's no accidental, if it is bolt locked, let's lock it to the rear real quick. When it's locked to the rear, it is exposed, but it is fairly shielded. The spring tension on it is, it's a pretty stiff bolt release, which is nice as well. And they call it a maritime paddle. Why is it a maritime paddle? You need a giant paddle so you can feel it when you're wearing gloves and diving and stuff like that. Anyway, that is pretty much a walkthrough on the whole gun and all of its amenities. Out of the box, probably one of the best out of the box non-adjustable gas block soft shooting 11.5s I have ever messed with. I don't need to change the trigger. I don't need to change the buffer system. I don't need to change anything about it. There is nothing about this gun out of the box that I would change. Now granted, it carries a hefty price tag, and I think the price matches the performance that they put into this thing, because this thing shoots lights out. Yeah, I don't know, super impressed. Now for range time. Cool. Wind is switching. It's going left to right, right to left. So I'm going off plate edge, plate edge, plate edge, plate edge. Every time Frankie was calling my shots, he said off left plate, left edge of the plate. I corrected towards the right edge, got my hit, wind switched off the right side, moved to the left side of the plate, impact. Gun's on. Gun's super dialed in, nail and steel, really happy. I'm running 77 grain IMI Razor Core. It's been very consistent ammo. I enjoy it. I like shooting it. It's spicier than running like Federal Gold Medal Match or anything like that. And it runs really well in guns. I've had really good experience with it. We'll put another mag through it, get some hits again on target. And then we'll talk about accuracy. Sliding off the bag, hold on. All right, so that's 22 out of 24 rounds on that magazine on impact. Took advantage of that dead wind to make it rain. I'm at the third graduation on the AMR 3-dot at 400. I can only assume that the second dot is 200. I'm zeroed for 50, so 50, 200, 400, and you know, I wonder if the third dot is somewhere. So we were on the third dot. I bet the fourth dot is, with this ammo at this barrel length, is somewhere between the 500 and 600 yard mark. This is a great range, by the way. I just want to give a big shout out to Londonderry Fish and Game Club. It's the best range that you could become a member to in southern New Hampshire. They have beautiful amenities. They've got a C-zone IPSC steel at 400 yards that we were just dinging. They've got steel up on pretty much every range to proof your guns at. Been a member here for over 10 years. And this is a pretty cool facility. This is where we go to run guns a little farther than my property, where we just kind of burn it down on the steel range. And so thank you so much for having such a great facility, Londonderry Fish and Game Club. And it's deer rifle season opener tomorrow, so everyone's here last minute zeroing their guns. So we're gonna get out of here. But yeah, anyway, this gun rocks. All right, so I marked up this target. My first target, this is when I did my backyard 50-yard zero. So one dead nuts bullseye, the bulk of my group here, a little over an inch stretched out here. This is no magnification at 50 yards. I wanted to see where I would adjust to if I went right one, up one, because there are half MOA adjustments on the AMR. So here was my second group. Again, one low, a nice tight 4-piece up there, one low. It basically went the opposite direction up into that right corner. So I said, I'll take that. I'd rather be a little bit high at 50 than a little bit low at 50. Came down here to the 3-power magnification here. I shot about a 1/2 inch group on bullseye with mag at 50 yards. So I'm really happy with that group at 50 yards with magnification. So I do have a slight magnification shift. I go from there, because this makes sense. My first zero's here. I'm aiming for here, it's here. I move it up one, right one. I go up to this quadrant, and then I add magnification to it, super fine dot. We're getting perfect bullseye with mag. So I'm really happy with that shift. I'd rather it be a little bit high, no mag. Mag is perfectly zeroed. That's awesome. The wind started gusting. It was a little weird at 100, but you can, this is with magnification. This is a group without magnification. It was a little hard to see. Red dot on this, it's really dark today. So seeing the targets, no mag, was a little tough at 100 yards. So you can see here's my no mag 100 yard. With mag, it tightens up a little bit. But again, aiming for here, my group's not that great at 100 with 3X. If I had like an LPVO or some stronger glass on this gun, I bet we could get this way tighter. But again, we proofed it at 100. We're still pretty good. It's a little bit left shift here, no big deal. And then we just ran it out to 400. And I'm holding at 400 yards. I'm holding straight with no wind when the wind died. I'm holding straight up at the 3rd dot out of the 4 dots on the AMR reticle. And I'm getting my C-zone IPSC size steel impacts all day long. So pretty accurate gun. We proofed it, happy with that. This might be my favorite out of the box 11.5 ever.